Hi everyone, Ann Olson here, and we've got a big project loaded on our 30-inch Gamel 14-foot frame. This bedspread is a whole cloth project, and it's 132 wide by 153 long, so huge project. Some interesting and unique things, and we thought we'd share a few tips for you. You might have already seen the soup can video. So if you look at this quilt, Pete, if we look right here, this is nice and flat. The backing is nice and flat under there. But when I peek under from the side, see we've got two pieces of fabric here together, and their backing also has two pieces of fabric together. And I had to load it that way since it was so long I couldn't turn it sideways. My other seam is right here. This particular seam of the back has issues. There's some waviness going on, we'll call it that. So if you notice, it's nice and flat there, but here it's sagging down on me. So there's some sag in the middle of this, more so in the middle, but also a little bit sagging right here. So when I peek under, I can see that sag. The other thing going against me is this is a little bit stretchy. So you've got some stretch to it in this fabric, a little bit more this way than this way. So I really would have preferred, if I could have, to have loaded this project sideways to go with the seams, and that would have helped alleviate a lot of the problem. But since I can't, there's other things you try to solve. So in this case, I've got leaders on here. You might also notice that we're real close to it, so I can't put my clamp right on the fabric. I have to pin and do this. So I've pinned a piece of muslin to it, and then I'm clamping that muslin. So that's one solution on your sides to help pull when it's that way. The other thing I do is, okay, you saw the soup can video, maybe. If you haven't, go watch that. So I used soup cans to help with the fullness. Now this particular project is needing more than just those two soup cans. So we grabbed a spaghetti can, and I like to use my little, it's a paperweight. I wish I had more of them, but it's just a fun glass paperweight I got a long time ago. That's another story. And it makes a good weight also, but it doesn't roll away. So I have to slide it. And I'm also using my hand to help as I'm coming, especially up here close. I sometimes need to pull, and this is keeping me from getting wrinkles in the back. Okay.
My
So
hand too.
yes, Pete's helping with moving the cans if I need him to, because I'm having to push it so far sometimes, and also with the thickness of this batting. It's probably a 12 ounce if you've never worked with really thick polyester. They call it Dacron, but it's really thick. See that? That's more than half an inch. So probably 3/4. And that's just a guessing. So that's what's going on here. We're working on quilting up this project. And I also would have liked to load it sideways because I'm outlining around the thing. And I could have done the whole thing a whole lot easier than I'm doing now. But that's okay. We're doing it. So I have to start here, and I'm going to come down and do this flower and this, and then come back up and do this. And see, as if I move, you can see that fabric's, if I'm moving along, it's moving on me. So that's why I've got to have the weights in here helping hold and keep that fabric stretched, because that's basically what I'm doing, is stretching this fabric so that I can quilt it and not get folds in the top or in the back. So that's what we're doing. So I think I can get started right here. And maybe we'll have you watch a little bit of videoing. I'm going to pull that one up here also. Maybe I want the big one and then this one here. So we'll see if we can get going here. Now this machine is completely manual, so I have to be ready to go and be fast.
The stitch regulator.
That's right. And so now you'll notice I move my hand to help add that extra bit of pull where I need it and as I'm going. And then that soup can will move a little bit and shift as I come closer to it. And so that kind of helps. And you want your movements of your hands to be smooth You don't want to jerk and just let go all of a sudden because that's going to move that fabric really funny. So we're just manipulating the fabric so that I can get my stitches in there nice and flat in the fabric. And then when it fluffs back up, it'll be just fine. But that way I don't get folds. So if you've ever wondered how to solve those fullness issues in your quilt, these are some tips that might help you. So you can see I'm pulling with my hand and moving around. Pete, if you'll slide that spaghetti can over closer. Now, for those of you that don't necessarily have the industrial long arm, you've got more of a mid arm, and your poles are not super strong, I would not want to put this much pressure that I'm doing here on your poles, because your pole, especially your belly bar, is going to move on you. So if your belly bar kind of bends, if you're leaning against it, I wouldn't want to tackle this project.
Basically, if you got a machine, I won't say brands, but
Right.
you have to click the poles together, and it's not a solid pole. I would do it like this.
Right. We've been down that road. We had a frame that it would bend on me.
Yeah.
And so that's why you end up upgrading. If you're going to do this professionally and for hire, or you're going to try and tackle some project you want to do, maybe you want to upholster some quilt, some couch cushions or whatever, and it's thicker fabric, then you're going to want poles that are sturdy. Like if I lean on this, I can't bend it per se. Maybe if I put my whole weight on it, I might be able to. But
basically, Gamel, APQS, Innova, Knowlting.
Your main commercial brands are going to have the nice
maybe
strong
the Bernina
poles.
24 that's got solid poles, but a lot of the others are just click together type stuff. And
you need a pole that's strong so you can pull against it and pull that fabric, because you're trying to keep that fabric nice and flat on the backing. And if your poles are going to wobble on you, you don't want to tackle this.
Yep.
So that's a helpful tip. All right.
All right. Talk to you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.